ancient Norse sea experts did everything from exploring, trading, colonizing, and looting. During their time, they instilled fear in most of Europe, and even parts of the Middle East. With the surprising extent of their influence, it's no wonder they remain notorious to this day for the mark they left. Vikings never wore horned helmets. It's possible that painters made up the horned helmets during the 19th. The word Viking means a pirate raid in the Old Norse language. Vikings have been known to have fantastic hygiene. Archaeologists have found tweezers, razors, combs, and even air cleaners at excavation sites. Vikings bathed at least once a week, which is more frequent than other Europeans of their time. Due to the Norse religion, it was believed that warriors went to incredible realms after their death, therefore burying their dead in boats was common to help reach the afterlife. In the boats, the dead were often sent off with their weapons, jewelry, and sometimes even sacrificed slaves. Primitive skis were developed 6,000 years ago by Scandinavians. By the time of the Vikings, the Norse used skiing as an effective method of travel, as well as for fun. They even had a god of skiing, Ulla. The Vikings never called themselves Vikings, and they did not think of themselves as a united group. They were a series of chieftain-led tribes that fought against each other throughout Denmark, Sweden, and Norway. The Vikings practiced Norse paganism. The head of their gods was Odin and Thor. It was thought by the Vikings that if they die in battle that Odin could choose them to bring to Valhalla, their version of heaven, where only the legendary Norse heroes go. 500 years before Christopher Columbus found the shores of America, the Vikings landed on what is now Canada in around AD 1000. Compared to other cultures, Viking women had more rights than most women. Viking women had the right to divorce their husbands and inherit property. It's difficult to gather information about the Vikings because they never wrote down their own history. Most of what is known about Viking raids and customs comes from what their enemies documented about them. Some of the Vikings kept pets from cats, dogs, falcons, peacocks, and bears. Bear cubs would be caught as cubs and then raised by Viking families. Polar bears, however, were reserved for noblemen only. If a child was sick or weakly, the parents would either abandon the child or throw them in the sea. This was due to the strong pride Vikings took in strength and power. Greenland was discovered by the Vikings centuries before the Inuit arrived. However, when the Inuit started moving south, they attacked and collapsed the Norse settlements. In order to tell how bad a battle wound was, Viking women would feed an injured warrior a broth with potent onions. After eating it, if they could smell the broth through the wound, they knew it was too deep and there was no way to fix it. The most prized weapons of the Vikings were their long swords. They would often name their swords things like Widowmaker and Corpse Bramble. The swords would often be passed down through the generations. Poetry was thought to be a gift from Odin. The Vikings ultimately invented rap battle during the 5th, known as flyting. It is a poetic exchange of insults often targeting cowardice or perversion. The national sport of Iceland is gulma, which is a Scandinavian martial art used by Vikings.